Hey warriors, listen closely, because the first breath you take in the morning belongs to you, not to your job, not to your inbox, not to your responsibilities, and not to anyone else, just you. And yet most people give it away within seconds. Before their eyes are fully open, they are already scrolling, already worrying, already rehearsing problems that have not even happened. They wake up and immediately surrender their mind. That is how the day is lost before it even begins. Here is what most people never realize: your mind in the morning is like wet cement. Whatever touches it first leaves a mark, and those early impressions harden fast. For most people, the first imprint is stress, anxiety, unfinished tasks, comparison, or fear. They do not choose those thoughts, they inherit them from their environment, from yesterday, from their phone, from their habits. But the 1% do something different. They understand that the first hour of the day quietly determines the next 16. Your life is not won at night. When you are exhausted, it is not fixed in the afternoon. When your energy is gone, it is shaped in the silence before 8 in the morning. Thoughts are not random. They are planted. If you do not plant them intentionally, something else will. Your memories will plant them, your fears will plant them, the news will plant them, other people will plant them. So those who live with strength do not wait for motivation, they do not hope for a good day, they build one deliberately. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Waking up at 5 is not the secret. Waking up different is the morning, is when the gates are open, your mental defenses are down, your brain is transitioning from unconscious to conscious. It is vulnerable and impressionable, like a computer booting up. During that short boot sequence, you decide which programs run first: focus or distraction, gratitude or resentment, intention or confusion, strength or weakness. Most people never even notice the gap between opening their eyes and turning on their mind. But in that small window, everything is decided. 5 seconds, maybe 10, and that moment quietly shapes the entire day. We are taught that discipline and willpower solve everything, but here is the truth backed by psychology and neuroscience. Self-control is strongest early in the day and declines as decisions accumulate. If your morning starts in surrender, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover. If your morning starts in command, you spend the rest of the day building. Many people believe they are in control because they handle responsibilities and make decisions, but they are reacting to emotions they did not design, reacting to thoughts they did not question, reacting to a mental state that was set by default. Winners do not react in the morning, they create. They set the internal frequency, and everything else tunes in. This is not about productivity hacks, it is about survival. If you do not control your mind before the world wakes up, you will spend the rest of the day being controlled by it. That is not living, that is being lived. Number 1, they do not just wake up, they take command. There is a difference. 99% wake up and let the day happen. The disciplined few wake up and decide who they will be before the world tells them who to become. When their eyes open, they do not roll over searching for comfort, they do not grab their phone, they do not ease into distraction, they strike first. They remind themselves that being alive, breathing, thinking, loving is a privilege. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. So tomorrow morning, when that small gap appears before your thoughts rush and pause, ask yourself, what will I allow into my mind first? What program will I run? What identity will I step into? Because your whole life is not decided in dramatic moments, it is shaped quietly in that first hour. Guard it, protect it, command it. This is Stoicism Breath, reminding you that the battle for your day is won before 8 in the morning. The people who truly take control of their lives understand something simple but powerful. The first thought of the morning becomes the leader. Every thought that follows will either support it or fight against it. That is why they control their breath, their posture, and that very first mental sentence. Your body wakes up before your mind fully comes online. In that short space, your brain defaults to whatever it was running yesterday: old worries, unfinished conversations, past failures, familiar doubts. If nothing interrupts that pattern, yesterday quietly becomes today. Winners refuse to let that happen, they reset on purpose. Taking command in the morning means you do not ask yourself how you feel, you decide how you will show up. You do not wait to see if you have energy. You move your body, breathe deeply, straighten your posture, and signal strength to your nervous system. Research in psychology shows that posture and breathing directly influence mood and stress levels. Slow, controlled breathing lowers cortisol and helps regulate the stress response. This is not motivational fluff, it is biology. So instead of asking, is today going to be hard, they say, today I will build what I can control. That may sound intense, but morning is not the time for passivity. Passivity in the morning is submission. Seneca said, the brave person is free. Your mind is a kingdom, and every morning there is a brief moment when the throne is empty. If you do not sit on it, anxiety will, doubt will, laziness will, and once those sit down, they are difficult to remove. Sovereignty does not mean perfection, it means refusing to be a passenger in your own head. Too many people spend decades being driven around by thoughts they never chose. They wake up already defeated because they let their emotional state decide their direction. Winners reverse that order. They get in the driver's seat before the engine even starts. They do not wait to feel ready, they create readiness. They do not wait to feel strong, they choose strength. That decision made in the first 90 seconds of awareness changes the chemistry of the entire day. You are not a victim of your mental state, you are its architect, but only if you act early, only if you wake up with intention. Winners do not hope for a good morning, they engineer it. That is why their days look different long before 8 in the morning. Then comes the second principle. They filter their mind before letting thoughts settle. Your mind does not come with a built-in filter. It absorbs everything: sounds, memories, notifications, unfinished tasks. In the first 15 minutes after waking up, your brain is highly impressionable. Neuroscience shows that during this transition from sleep to wakefulness, the brain moves through slower wave patterns that make it more suggestible. In simple terms, your mind is like a sponge. Winners know this, so they do not let every thought take root. Filtering is not denial, it is selection. Multiple truths exist at the same time. You have problems, and you have strengths, you have fears, and you have opportunities. The average person lets the heaviest, darkest thought walk in first and sit down at the table. They carry that weight into meetings, conversations, and decisions. But those who practice Stoic discipline intercept that first negative thought. Epictetus taught that it is not what happens, but how you respond that shapes your life. In the morning, response speed is everything. A worry appears, and you have a few seconds to question it. Is this useful? Is this helping me build the day I want? If not, you close it. Think of thoughts like applications trying to open on your computer. Not every application deserves to run. Some drain energy, some slow the system, some crash everything. Winners close what does not serve them before it consumes memory and focus. This requires awareness, it requires practice, and it requires the humility to admit that your mind will offer you garbage. Some mornings, old insecurities, random fears, imagined disasters. But you do not have to accept every offer. You can choose which thoughts become beliefs and which ones are dismissed. Ask yourself tomorrow morning, when the first worry appears, will I automatically accept it, or will I examine it? Will I allow one negative sentence to define the next 16 hours, or will I replace it with something stronger, more intentional, more aligned with who I want to become? The quality of your day depends less on circumstances and more on what you allow to stay in your mind before 8 in the morning. Guard that space. Filter deliberately. Lead your thoughts before they lead you. Your mind is not broken, it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Its primary job is survival. It scans for threats, it remembers pain, it tries to prevent you from repeating mistakes. That is how human beings stayed alive for thousands of years. But survival mode does not care about your peace, it does not care about your happiness, it cares about keeping you safe. So when you wake up and your first thoughts are fear, doubt, or worst case scenarios, that is not weakness, that is your brain trying to protect you. The problem is that in modern life most of the threats are not physical, they are emails, deadlines, conversations, and imagined outcomes, yet your brain reacts as if a predator is outside the door. Winners understand this. They do not get angry at their mind, they expect it to offer fear. They wake up prepared knowing that a negative thought will likely arrive. They do not argue with it, they replace it. When the thought says you are not ready, they answer, I am built for this. When it says this will be too hard, they respond, I have handled harder. They do not debate, they do not spiral, they install a better thought immediately. Seneca once wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. How many mornings have been ruined by events that never even happened? Think about it. Have you ever laid in bed imagining a difficult meeting going badly only to discover later that it went fine? Have you ever felt stressed about a conversation that turned out to be simple and respectful? By the time many people stand up, they are already emotionally drained. They have fought battles that existed only in their head. Those who practice discipline do something different. They become gatekeepers of their mind. They ask 3 simple questions. Does this thought make me stronger? Does it help me move forward? Does it deserve my energy? If the answer is no, it does not stay. This is not pretending everything is perfect. It is strategic thinking. You have limited mental bandwidth, especially in the first hour of the day. Neuroscience shows that cognitive resources are finite. When you waste them on imagined disasters, you reduce your capacity for focus, creativity, and decision making. Later winners protect that bandwidth. They keep their mind clean. Many people let their mind become a storage unit for regret, anxiety, and unfinished stories. Then they wonder why they feel heavy before breakfast. Mental clutter creates emotional weight. When you filter early, you move through the morning with clarity and lightness. You feel in control instead of overwhelmed. You are not required to believe every thought your brain produces. You are allowed to reject them. You are allowed to redirect them. But you must do it early before they settle and shape your emotional state for the entire day. Then comes the third principle. Winners slow their brain down. While everyone else speeds up, the world worships speed. Fast replies, fast decisions, constant movement. But a fast brain in the morning is usually a fearful brain. When you wake up, your nervous system is deciding which mode to enter, fight or flight or rest, and regulate the pace of your thoughts in the first 20 minutes sends a powerful signal. If your thoughts are racing, your body assumes there is danger. Cortisol increases, heart rate rises, muscles tighten. You have activated survival mode before the sun is fully up. Once that state is triggered, you spend the rest of the day reacting instead of leading. Marcus Aurelius advised confining yourself to the present moment. That is not philosophy for a textbook, it is practical biology. When you slow your thoughts, you signal safety to your body. Winners do this intentionally. They do not jump straight into their phone or to-do list. They breathe slowly, they sit upright, they let their mind warm up. Like an engine idling before a long drive, a car that starts at full throttle is hard to control. The same is true for your mind. Slowing down is not laziness, it is strength. Calm is the most powerful state you can operate from. Studies in stress physiology show that slow breathing and mindful awareness activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for recovery, clarity, and balanced decision making. Instead of asking what could go wrong, they focus on what is in front of them. Instead of sprinting mentally, they pause, observe, and choose their next thought carefully. This pause is a skill. It must be trained. You train it by resisting the urge to think fast, by noticing your thoughts without chasing them, by choosing stillness before action. Ask yourself tomorrow morning, will I let my brain start in panic mode, or will I let it idle, warm up, and gain control? before accelerating the quality of your day depends on that answer. Control your imagination, filter your thoughts, slow your mind before the world speeds you up. That is how strength is built quietly before 8 in the morning. Let thoughts come without chasing them, let feelings rise without drowning in them. This is the quiet discipline that separates people who control their mornings from those who are controlled by them. The difference is not intelligence or talent, it is awareness and restraint. Epictetus taught that first you decide who you want to be, and then you do what is required before you accelerate. You must know your direction. A racing mind cannot choose wisely, it reacts blindly. Winners slow their thinking so they can see clearly. They slow down to choose on purpose. They slow down so they do not waste energy running toward goals that do not matter. Once they decide their direction, then they move fast, but not before the world will try to rush you. Notifications demand attention, anxiety pushes urgency, deadlines create pressure. If you allow that external speed to control your internal state, you will spend the entire day chasing your own thoughts. You will feel busy yet accomplish little. You will feel exhausted yet have nothing meaningful to show for it. That is what happens when the brain starts the day at full throttle. Winners refuse that pattern. They regulate their mental speed. They choose slowness. When slowness creates clarity, they choose stillness. When stillness builds strength, because they do this before 8 in the morning, they enter the rest of the day from power instead of panic. They are not reacting to life, they are responding to it. There is a profound difference. Slowing down your brain does not mean doing nothing, it means doing one thing at a time with full presence. It means finishing one complete thought before jumping to the next. It means feeling one emotion fully, then letting it pass. Research in cognitive science shows that multitasking reduces efficiency and increases stress, yet most people multitask in their own mind every morning, jumping from worry to memory to future scenario in seconds. That mental chaos becomes their emotional baseline. Then comes another critical habit. They cut off mental noise before it multiplies. Mental noise rarely begins as a roar, it begins as a whisper, a small doubt, a passing worry, a tiny distraction. But if left unchecked, one thought becomes 2, become 5, become 20. Soon your mind feels like a crowded room, and you cannot even remember how it started. Winners interrupt the noise early before it grows roots. Noise is not only sound, noise is any thought that consumes energy without creating progress. It is the argument you replay over and over, the situation you cannot control, but keep trying to solve, the comparison, the silent self-criticism, the mental loop that goes nowhere. In the early morning, your mental defenses are still forming. Noise can take over quickly. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that if you are distressed, the pain is not from the event itself, but from your judgment of it, and that judgment can be withdrawn. Winners withdraw it. They recognize the noise, they name it, and they release it. This is difficult because the brain loves to analyze. It wants to solve everything, even problems that do not exist, even questions that have no answer. Yet engaging with useless thoughts only strengthens them. People often invite noise to sit with them at breakfast. They carry it into the shower. They take it into traffic. By the time real work begins, their mind is already tired. Winners take a different approach. They do not suppress the noise. Suppression makes it louder. Instead, they acknowledge it calmly and choose to redirect. They might say, I see this thought, but it is not helpful right now. Then they shift focus to something intentional, a breath, a priority for the day, a meaningful action. Seneca taught that true happiness comes from enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. Noise pulls you out of the present, it drags you into imagined futures and unchangeable pasts. Morning is the worst time to allow that because morning sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Cutting off mental noise requires decisiveness. You cannot wait until the thought feels resolved. You cannot wait until it feels comfortable to let it go. Often the mind insists the noise is important, When it is simply discomfort with uncertainty, winners understand that clarity is a resource, just like energy or time. It must be protected. Your quality of life reflects the quality of your thoughts. If your thoughts are chaotic, your experience will feel chaotic. If your thoughts are intentional, your actions become focused and your results improve. You cannot control every thought that appears, but you can control which ones you entertain. Guard your morning, slow your mind, filter your thoughts, cut off the noise before it multiplies. That is how you create a day rooted in strength instead of scattered reaction. This is Stoicism Breath, reminding you that mental clarity in the first hours of the day shapes the power of everything that follows.